Welcome to CN Movies, the show where we review movies, but from a Christian's perspective. I am the filmmaker.
And I'm the film watcher.
And today we're reviewing Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban. Released in 2004. There's actually 2 years in between Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. You are in such a rush. We haven't even announced the first category. It could be different. It could be animation.
Oh,
you
yeah,
just
it could
never
be
know.
animation this time.
It could be animation.
I'm just excited about this
It
movie.
was released in 2004. They had a 2-year gap in between Chamber and this film, and that's because, for a few reasons, we think. We haven't done a ton of research to find out. We're just guessing. First off, the last Dumbledore died. So they had to get a new Dumbledore.
Problematic.
A bit problematic, yes. He's kind of a character in the movie. The director changed as well. It's no longer Chris Columbus. Not Christopher Columbus who discovered America. Chris Columbus, the director of the last movie. This movie is actually directed by a man named Alfonso Cuarón, Cuaron. Now, I cannot tell you off the top of my head whether I've seen any of his other movies. However, they changed directors. They got to get a new Dumbledore. And there's probably a bit more CGI to do this time. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they just want to make it better. Harry Potter looks older and stuff. Anyways, let's get into this thing.
First category is story. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry, Ron, and Hermione learn to handle a hippogriff, rebel shape-shifting boggarts, and master the art of divination.
I'm really glad you were the
really
one to read the back of this
didn't.
box because I didn't.
Okay. During their third year at Hogwarts, Harry must also withstand soul-sucking dementors, outsmart a werewolf, and deal with the truth about the escaped prisoner Sirius Black and his relationship to Harry and his parents.
Mm-hmm. So, I think I want to begin this one.
Sure, go ahead.
The story of this movie was a vast improvement over the previous two. It did feel like there was a lot more dead time. I mean, it still felt like there was some dead time, but not as much. I think the cinematography of this movie was so much better. It was so much better. The director did such a... That's why I said I don't think I've ever seen any of his other movies, but my goodness, his direction was so much better than this movie. Even though the story is not really all that much better, it just didn't... maybe his direction made it feel like there was less dead time. Because it was still a long movie, still like 2.5 hours, yeah. There was more weird humor in this movie, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was funny.
And it lets you know that right away when he...
At the same time, it's darker. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it is darker. It is definitely darker. As we mentioned in Chamber of Secrets, if you could probably tell from if you can see it here, Prisoner and forget the glare off it. Prisoner and Goblet, the titles are getting more and more deteriorated, and because movies are getting darker. But yes, there's more weird humor. It did the double-decker bus scene that showed, like when Harry's like sitting there and the double-decker bus shows up, and like from then on, you know this movie's gonna be different. That's when it clicked for me. That this movie was not going to be the same as the previous two, is when they had that scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to whatever new stuff they're going to throw at me in this movie because, yeah, it felt different. There's more of an emphasis on storytelling in this movie and not on random CGI stuff to just try to impress you. Like, oh, here's magic. Are you impressed yet? You know, like flu powder. There's no real purpose to it in Chamber of Secrets. It's just there to impress you. There's no real reason to show we forgot to mention the trees, the tree class in Chamber of Secrets. I'm sure in future movies I'm talking about, in the one we're watching.
No,
in Chamber, there's no real reason to show it, but in Prisoner, they
And-
don't have unnecessary stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Everything they show you is relevant to the movie you're watching, and that is good filmmaking. It's not just the movie. It's not just the book in movie form. So Prisoner felt a lot tight. It didn't feel... It could have been even tighter. They could have still cut out 10, 20 minutes, probably. I wasn't sitting there keeping count because the ending was so good. The ending was much better than the last two films. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. So you can go ahead and then I still have some other stuff.
I just said it was a big step up from the previous two because there's more complexity in it. That kind of goes with characters.
Did they cut out big portions of book for this one or no?
Honestly, it's been so long since I've read.
You don't
the books.
remember?
I don't think so. I think for most all the movies, they stuck very close to the
I know that once Goblet of Fire is released, like the books got thicker.
got
So maybe I
lots
figured they were cutting more as they got along, but I don't know.
Like I said, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they do, but what they do cut is the
filler.
Stuff. The filler.
Yeah.
Because it does still start, like near Harry's birthday and go to the end of the story.
Every movie does feel like the beginning's kind of filler every single time.
But I did say yes. I love the director in this one. There are a lot of visually nice scenes that are one of my favorite scenes in all of the Harry Potter, and I don't know why, but it's where Harry's trying to learn how to do the Patronus in Lupin's office for the first time, and the way Lupin I don't know if you noticed this, but
the new dark arts teacher.
The new dark arts teacher.
New dark arts teacher every movie. Go ahead.
I love him.
Yeah.
There's a new dark arts teacher, and they have the same room, but the way that they set it up every time reflects their personality.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't show much. It doesn't show Quirrell's room, I don't think, as much. But it does show Lockhart's room, and of course it's full of pictures of himself.
Yeah.
In this one, when it shows Lupin's room, and it's the same room, but it's just this big room, so they kind of show it however they want. But it's just full of these, like, spheres and candles, and that's it. It's, like, really basic and plain. But I don't know, it's just beautiful. And the image, I think, is kind of...
The imagery in this movie, period, is more beautiful.
Yeah,
you have the multiple shots. That's why I said the cinematography is better. Because I mean, I know you and I watched a video on this before we even watched this movie, where the guy was talking about how, like, the camera would go through windows and stuff. I mean, obviously it's not really going through a window.
Right,
There's some CG. There has to be CG in there, but it's just the way it's done. And then when it goes through the like, you never really got, like, I knew that there were floating candles in the cafeteria, or whatever you want to call it, the dining hall. But in this movie, it was really cooler to see it with the way the camera's working. And it goes up to Dumbledore, and it goes behind Dumbledore, just stuff like that was nice. And there was that one really long shot that was like 2 minutes where, what was it? It was before, it was
Harry
when...
with Mr. Weasley.
Yes, or Mr. Weasley comes to talk to Harry. It was like, if you guys watch it, that scene is nearly 2 minutes long, and it's all in one take. It means everybody is, like, just in their character, and they don't have to keep cutting. They're just... and the camera has to move with them, and it was really well done. That's what we mean. This movie was just, went into this movie.
It's starting to show the depth of everyone, which I guess that's more in characters, but it goes with the story, because the story is starting to be more serious. It's showing, like, the whole long scene where Mr. Weasley is telling Harry about the prisoner. It's like this progression, and it gets to where, Harry's the only thing you see at the end of it, and Harry's separated from everyone, and Harry's alone. And that's a theme that's repeated over and over again throughout the rest of the movies. But anyways, it's just starting to do important stuff like that. That is important to the storyline.
But it's not really to the point where it's dark yet. The movie's not really dark.
Yeah, there's still a lot of humor.
The movie's, like, pretty light. It's still it's the last PG-rated movie of the series. The Goblet of Fire is PG-13. So.
Anyway, the story was great.
I think my biggest flaw with the Harry Potter movie so far is everything feels a bit formulaic in terms of it's always Harry's birthday at the beginning. Do I care? No. It's always Harry's birthday at the beginning. They're always taking the train there. I know they missed the train chamber, and that was a bit interesting, but still the train, it's just, there's always going to be something that happens before they even go on the train. It's going to be something that's almost completely unrelated to the rest of the movie. I don't know. It's really starting to feel formulaic. We're going to see Christmas. Though I will say the passing of time in this movie is different. In the first two, it was just like they showed the cafeteria. Every single time they want to show passing time, they show the cafeteria, and there was different decoration there. And that's how they did it. Which is, by the way, very average directing to do that. The interest in this one, they showed the crazy tree that you really got more of in Chamber. They showed the tree outside, and they showed the seasons changing. That's how you show it's different time, not just showing a Christmas tree in the cafeteria. Oh, I guess it's December all of a sudden. Thanks, Not in this movie. It's just more care was taken, more detail was put in. I think it wasn't just let's film the book. Yeah. So. So the ending, spoiler, if you haven't seen Prisoner and you're watching our third review of Harry Potter, but which I think would be kind of weird, but if you are, the time travel ending is cool.
It's one of the best, I think.
Yeah, like I know that wasn't the director, so I can't pin it on the director for choosing a time travel ending, but that was a good, like, I'm a sucker for time travel when it's done right. Yeah, that was pretty sweet, because you're like. But it is kind of convenient. She's like, why do you think I'm always on time for class? You have time travel, and that's what you're using it for, Hermione? Get on. Oh, my goodness gracious. Time travel, though, ending was cool. It was unique. I honestly did not expect it. They got me on that. That was new when I saw that. I was like, are they really about to do time travel? And then they did it. And, of course, I had questions as to why they didn't use it for other things earlier, but it's fine because the ending was cool.
Well, the reasoning in the book is that time travel is such a precarious thing.
It is. You
that
can't,
not everyone can use it for just
and
anything.
the movie does kind of assume you've watched Back to the Future, or that you understand that if you interact with yourself, it doesn't really tell you that, but you kind of get the concept that they can't see themselves, because they see themselves, it screws everything up. Because if they see themselves, will they actually go back in time to the right? So you don't want to mess anything up that happened already, which is why it's so precarious. But the movie does kind of assume that you know that.
And that's the only reason that McGonagall gave it to Hermione in the first place, because she knew she was so careful and smart.
She's smarter than Harry.
Not every student gets a time
Don't give it to Ron. Ron's the dumb one of the three. But Hermione's definitely a smart one.
Yeah.
For the story, even despite all the praise, I did give it 11 out of 15 because I said it felt a little bit too long. Could have caught some stuff, and the movies are really starting to feel a bit formulaic.
I gave it 13.
Everything always gets solved at the end of the school year. Always.
Of course.
If it got solved in fall, God forbid. The next category is characters. I think we're kind of at this point, unless we're talking about new characters. The characters are pretty much the same as last time.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbledore's actor did a good job. Yeah. The replacement actor did a good job. Hagrid is given more of a role. We already know we like Hagrid. Emma Thompson, not Emma Watson, Emma Thompson as the kooky teacher, who I wish was in other movies, but she's not.
She is.
Well, she wasn't in... I've only seen up to Goblet, by the way. I kind of cheated and saw Goblet already, but... she's not in Goblet, though.
She's not in Goblet.
Okay. Emma Thompson was cool as the kooky teacher. Harry Potter, Emma Watson, and Ron continue to be interesting. But,
they continue to deepen their characters as they get older.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're getting older,
A little bit.
so it's expected.
Lupin is still my favorite. Like, I love Professor.
I still think if we're gonna compare this to Chronicles in one area, the characters in Chronicles felt like more realistic, like more was going on with them. Like in between Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe and Prince Caspian, like it felt so real, like the progression or degression, whatever you want to call it, that they made. Whereas in this movie, it's just like kind of expected. Like, okay, they're older, they're better, nothing else really going on.
Well,
I'm sure in later movies, I'm just talking about
this
movie. Yeah, I'm just saying that's the one thing I like it, but at the same time, it's expected.
Only a year.
It was only a year in between Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe and Prince Caspian, so...
Technically, they reigned for like 20 years, and then they went back to theirs, and it's a little bit more complicated.
Okay, but anyways, my point is that it feels a bit expected, so it's not as... It's good, it's expected.
Right.
Yes. Snape is fun, but we need more of him. Like, he was fun in this movie. He wasn't fun in Chamber. He was fun in this movie. There just wasn't enough of him. There was never
enough Snape.
Just like Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. Why is the rum always gone? Where is Snape? Why is Snape always gone? Anyways. And where is Susan?
You've got to give up Susan.
I'm not.
She's not in any of the other movies.
I'm never going to give her up. I'm never going to let her
go. I'm your wife. Anyways, the new character, Professor Lupin, who is in other movies, by the way. I like him. Yes.
The dark arts teacher.
Yes.
Appears in other movies.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because we do see him in Goblet. I've only seen him through Goblet.
No.
Yeah?
He's not in Goblet.
Well, we see the prisoner again in Goblet.
Sirius Black, you see. Again.
Sirius Black. We didn't even talk about Sirius Black.
You see Sirius Black again. You see Lupin again. You see Moody again.
It's just because the dark arts teacher...
Just because the dark arts teacher changes
every time.
That character doesn't come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it seems that's the theme so far, is that once the dark arts teacher disappears after that school year, then it's a new one, then you don't see the last one. We haven't seen the first two dark arts teachers.
Well, Quirrell is dead.
Well, okay, back to my point. We don't see the first two dark arts teachers.
Probably got put in prison. And you will see Lupin again, so.
Oh, now I know.
Now you know.
You have anything else to add? Sirius Black, by the way, wasn't all... I mean, he wasn't all that interesting of a character.
Well, he wasn't in the movie much.
Yeah, but when he was, he doesn't like really steal any scenes or anything. The movie's basically called, Harry Potter and Sirius Black. The Prisoner of Azkaban is who he is. Yeah. Oh, we probably should explain Azkaban very shortly. We're in the midst of characters, so what is Azkaban?
The prison.
It's the prison for witches and wizards, correct? When they do...
It's a prison, and it's for any...
Oh, it's for anybody.
Hagrid went to Azkaban.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could just send, anybody there.
Anyone who is...
How do you stop people with magic? Are we ever going to see the prison?
Yes, you'll see the prison.
Cool. All right, so for characters, I give them...
It's a special prison. I mean, you can't... no one escapes...
That's fine. We don't have to explain it yet.
Okay.
We haven't gone there yet. It's okay. I didn't know we were going to go there later. I just found that out right now. The characters, I gave an 8 out of 10.
I gave 8 out of 10 as well.
Good work. Our next category is music. So this is the same comments I had in the first two movies. It does its job once again, but it's nothing memorable.
Okay. Music
That's
in
my
this one,
opinion.
The
Just
music
my opinion.
in this one is so much different. Okay, so you have the first scene where Harry blows
I was
up,
listening too.
where
Go
Harry
ahead.
blows up his aunt.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yes, and you have the fun, like completely, like almost like 1940s swing music going on there, which is something that's not showed up.
See, I don't
at all.
remember that.
And then again, you have the themes and stuff that are true to the movie, and but then again, when Lupin is teaching them how to defend themselves against a boggart, you have the really fun again a swing type. It's a fun upbeat song. It just makes it so much more memorable. It's so much more fun. It adds a lot to the movie. Anyways, so they use that music twice. Once when Harry is doing something not very well, but he's enjoying himself, and again when he's learning something and the whole class is enjoying themselves, but it was something very different.
Yes.
I also had, which is not exactly music, but the whole sequence during the time travel sequence, there's a clock ticking in the background.
Was there? I didn't notice that.
And sometimes the music covers it up a little bit. Yeah. But in the silence, there's a clock ticking the entire time, which I thought
I'd have to rewatch that scene to hear that. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was.
Probably because I was caught up in what was going on.
And I also put that with the Dementors, there is, like, the Dementors kind of have their own
We
theme.
didn't even really talk about Dementors because they're present, but they're not
Well,
doing anything.
Yes, they are. But anyways,
No,
they
in the
almost
movie, they're
kill
not.
Harry at the end. They have kind of their own theme, which is very haunting. It's all violins. It was very good. I thought the music in this one was much better.
I thought the Dementors are kind of lame, but that's characters, and I don't count them as characters. They're whatever. All right, so the music I gave it 5 out of 10.
I gave it a 10.
Of course you did.
It was good.
Of course you did.
It was good music.
It was the perfect soundtrack. I want to own it on CD. I want to download it off iTunes. I guess it's got to be more relevant. Stop talking about CDs, huh? The next category is Christian nutritional value.
Not much.
This is the real knock in this movie, because this movie is truly better than Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. I wish the series could have started Prisoner, and they could have done some of the world explaining here, but I understand why. I understand, all right? Just saying, but I kind of wish the series movie started here, or at least with this director, either one. But friendship, and the D word is said, aka if you were to say GD but without the G, and witchcraft and wizardry, of course, present as always. Yeah. Which I feel like one of the times
we've
we've
put that as a negative because you know know what you're getting into when you watch it.
Just because I'm watching Django Unchained, and they say the N-bomb like a million times doesn't mean it's okay, because I know it's gonna happen.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Christian nutritional values we're talking about, not expected value.
Yes.
All right.
Well, the positives that I had for this one is that love and joy are powerful and drive away fear. The love in this movie stems from family and friends, and Harry realizing that he isn't really alone. He was finally able to defeat the Boggart and the Dementors from focusing on the love he had for his family and for his friends, and that helps him later on when he.
I will say that they did a little bit more with his parents, because there was no focus on Voldemort in this movie. We kind of missed that.
Yeah, Voldemort is not in this.
Voldemort is nowhere in this film.
This is the only video.
This movie was really more focused on Harry finding out about his parents and growing to accept the fact that they're no longer with him, because he hasn't fully accepted that. He's becoming a teenager, you know. So that was I will agree with you. That was positive because. Yeah.
And when he does find the person who really killed his parents, spoiler alert, he doesn't kill him. Who is it? It's Peter Pettigrew.
There you go.
He doesn't kill him, and he doesn't let Lupin and Black kill him either, which actually is a good thing. He should have, but he shows mercy.
Yes.
And so that was a good thing. And then also I put that, you know, they weren't really sure what to do when they went back in time. They're just like, we have to do something, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, like they kind of went in without a plan.
Yeah. So, but they did the first thing that they could do, which was to save Buckbeak, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it was just showing that, you know, sometimes you may not know what the best is to do, but just do what you can, and maybe
follow your heart.
No, it's not follow your heart. It's
trust your heart.
It's not follow your heart.
Let fate decide. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't let fate decide. Anyways, basically, there's sometimes in your life you may want to do something big and grand, and you can't. So you do the good that you can. There is a Bible verse about saying that says, do the good that you can for that day, basically.
Sometimes you can't do something and get exams canceled, so you have to do the next best thing.
So they did what they could, which was to save Buckbeak, which ended up helping them save Sirius Black. But those are the positives that I had from the movie. Is there's the theme of love, joy, or those are the powerful things that drive away fear. Fear was the Dementors. Then there's the theme of do what you can. Then there's also the mercy.
Yeah.
I thought there was more to this movie than the previous movies. But yes, you're right. There's still cursing.
It's so overshadowed by everything else. I do not notice it. This is the first time I'm watching it. You've watched these multiple times. So the story, you can miss something and be focusing on something else and be okay because you know what's going to happen. Me, on the other hand, I have to keep track of what's going on because as these movies go along, they're cutting out less filler, basically, and so I can't just like wander off in La La Land for 20 minutes while we're looking at trees coming out of pots or whatever. So yeah, but there was a bit more Christian nutritional value than Chamber. Chamber had almost none. The parents thing was really the main one. I thought was good. But there's just so much other stuff. So for Christian nutritional value, I gave it a 4 out of 15.
I gave it a 9.
A 9 out of 15.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, there's stuff there.
There's stuff there.
No,
I see it.
Yeah. Well, you also don't wear glasses. Our final score for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is a 68 out of 100. Don't let that low score knock you if you're an adult. It's a good movie. It's a better movie than the first two. I really wish this director had done Goblet of Fire and then the later. I really wish they could have got him for another film or two. That would have been great. But he did a great job. He made if this was directed by the previous director, this movie would have been another Sorcerer's Stone Chamber Secrets, kind of like a slog fest of good ideas in there, but so much other stuff, and it was just this guy made it interesting. He made it good, and made Prisoner of Azkaban just a better movie. Even though, despite 60 out of 50, which is mostly from Christian nutritional value, on my end being knocked off, it would have been in the 70s otherwise. So, good movie. Check it out, especially if you've already watched the first two. If you've watched the first two, don't give up hope. This movie's a better movie.
It gets better.
And she keeps saying it's better, and I agree. The Prisoner was better than the first two. It wasn't. I was expecting it to be like, and it wasn't, but it was pretty good. Stay tuned as next time we review Finding Dory. We don't own the movie. It's quite expensive still, and we don't make millions of dollars off of YouTube yet. You know what I'm saying? But next time we're reviewing Finding Dory. So stay tuned, subscribe, and bye.